Welcome back to our People Community Events. Hello, everyone. My name is Chasen Forehand. I'm the founder of HR for You Incorporated. We are a charitable organization based in New York, and we have got an amazing guest for you tonight. But before I get to that, let's talk about our amazing sponsors. So I am so thrilled to talk about the Sustain Network, Tucker Bascon, and his work to make sure that people are not only doing the work themselves, but leaders are doing the work to make sure that people are putting their wellness up front and really taking care of themselves, and leaders are taking care of their people. So the Sustain Network, and he has been so kind to give us these micro classes that Tez has been able to take. And it's been amazing. So thank you, Tucker. Thank you, the Sustain Network. Nick, the gifted bipolar writer, she is at it again. I mean, you cannot stop this lady. It is absolutely incredible. Just when I think, she's topped herself. She's done this amazing work with the anthologies. And I was blessed to be part of book 2 in the last trilogy of anthologies that she released. Good grief. Who does that? Who does that? Nick does. That's who does. And Nick is releasing another anthology that is, My Diagnosis Doesn't Define Me. And I hope I got that right, Nick. She will let me know if I didn't. But I want to just tell you, you need to connect with her. You need to make sure that you are following all the things that she does. She's an amazing author, amazing human being, an amazing mom, wife, and an incredible publisher with the gifted bipolar writer. Jen Lin, Jenny Ford, you may know her by all of her shows that she does, her incredible magazine that's coming out, all of the work that she did towards the end of last year with the award ceremonies. We were blessed. My wife got the Victory Award. I was blessed to have the Hero Award, and just humbled by that whole thing. I mean, I was just in tears during this award ceremony. And what an incredible lady, doing amazing things. She helped raise money for our organization and continues to do incredible work for her own organization. She's just creating a nonprofit herself. And I just can't say enough about this amazing lady. I'm so thrilled to have her as a sponsor. Soul Summit Ventures, Derek Stroken, incredible dude that is a speaker. He is a consultant. He is, this guy is all over the place. He's a best-selling author. And one of the things that he's been doing is connecting with me and Transformation Kitchen to put out a cookbook. So when he goes and speaks and does keynotes for certain places, he's going to have them write down their favorite family recipes. He's going to collect those. And then towards the middle end of this year, we're going to put out our own Transformation Kitchen cookbook based on all of these that he's collected. So thrilled to have that. So great to work with him. He's absolutely fantastic. Last but certainly not least, Janet Mohapi Banks. You know her from her international best-selling book, Habits for Happiness. She is also about to come out with her workbook that's associated with that. I've been blessed to be part of several of her workshops. Absolutely incredible lady. And I cannot thank her enough for being part of what we do here at Transformation Kitchen at HR for You. And so thrilled to have all of our sponsors today. But now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, give it up for Nancy Becher in the house. Thank you so much for being here. She is the founder of Invisible Warriors, and we are thrilled, absolutely thrilled to have you on the show. Give it up, people. Well, my people aren't giving it up. There he goes. There he goes. Woo-hoo! They were a little slow on the uptake.
So am I, so that's okay.
Great to have you here. Let me I want to make sure I put up this QR code. I'm putting up this QR code. You scan this, people, and that will take you to her incredible website. We're going to dive all into it. Nancy, tell people a little bit about yourself. Share whatever you'd like to share, and then we're going to go into it.
Well, first, Jason, thank you so much for having me. This is an incredible opportunity to work with an incredible gentleman who is from Michigan. Yay. But I am just a person who was involved for years. My husband of 14 years is a Marine Corps Master Sergeant. And we go to a lot of military events. We see a lot of military doctors. We are just surrounded in a military town. And I was working on my nonprofit, which originally was for women in general who had chronic and invisible illnesses, and getting nowhere. Nobody cared. The women themselves didn't even care. And I was about to give up when one of my board members said, "Hey, you do all of this work for the military. Let's see if we can do something to support these women." And so I started doing research. I started looking into things and found just some amazing statistics. There are 20 to 30% of the women in the military have some form of military sexual trauma. And that's like 1 in 4 women. And the MST then revolves into PTS, which then brings on the chronic illnesses, which brings my organization back full circle. Because when you've got all of the illnesses, all of the mental health issues, the depression, the anxiety, you also get stomach problems, you get Crohn's, you get IBS, you get all of those things. And the problem with all of this is, particularly in the military, that you can't do anything about it. You can't say anything to anyone. You just have to suck it up and take it. And that is so wrong and so hard. And the women are just incredibly strong, incredibly resilient, and there's nobody supporting them. And so we decided, hi, Nancy, we decided that we were going to do something about it. And we morphed our organization from working with women in general to working with military veteran women, both active duty and prior military. And we're getting a huge success from it. And I'm so thrilled at everything that we're able to do and working with these women on.
Well, it's absolutely incredible. When I went to your website, and when you scan the QR code, people, and I know a lot of people are on their phones, so you can't scan the QR code, but if you're on a tablet, on your laptop, you scan that QR code, and the right screen, it's on my right screen. That will take you to Invisible Warriors website. I highly encourage you to check it out because there's a lot of great information, but there's a lot of things to share with others. Most of you that are on here know me and know the work that I do with American corporate partners and how important giving back to our veterans is to me personally. I have my friends that are very close to me that have all served. And then my wife has a lot of family members that have served. So it is incredibly important. And I mean, the work that you're doing is absolutely amazing, but I was blown away by the stats. I mean, I just was like, I knew in my mind from just listening to some of the ladies that I know and that I follow on social media about, that were veterans themselves. I knew that there were some issues, but I had no idea about some of the things that you guys bring out. So I want to dive into that a little bit more. When you're talking to ladies, especially about MST, that has to be something that is very, very difficult for them to get into. So how do you approach that subject, and how do you be a light and a reference point for them, so that they trust you and they feel safe?
It's really hard, and for a lot of them, one of my members, we were in a meeting the other day, and she said, as long as I don't name her, she's fine with my sharing some of what she said. She's been out of the military for almost 30 years, and just this last year did she actually begin to admit to herself that she had some of these issues. They were so pushed back into the back of her mind and her body, and she's been exhibiting all of these health issues and couldn't really figure out what was causing them because she didn't want to admit to herself that anything had happened. um, there are some men too that get MST, but one out of three, 1 out of 4 women have had at least one experience. And most people
Mm,
don't even realize what MST is. And it
yeah.
can be anything from the old, pat on the butt as you're walking by an officer's desk up to full outright rape. And so and it's a continuation. It can happen once, or it can happen repeatedly over and over. Another one of my members was saying she was one of the very first women in the Navy to be on board a ship, and she walked onto the ship, and everywhere around her were all these, like you used to see the pinup girls back in World War II.
Yeah.
Well, it was all the pornographic pictures and guys watching videos, and she was just completely bombarded with all of that on a daily basis. And they can't say anything. If they do, they're probably the ones that are going to get booted out of the service. It's not going to be their bosses. It's not going to be their upper command level. It's going to be them for not playing like a team player, for not being a buddy. And so they just swallow it. And it becomes so internalized that they don't ever want to talk about it. So what we're doing right now is we're just there. We're doing things like this. So we're saying we're holding private, safe spaces for women to come in person and talk just to other women that know what they've been going through and know the kinds of things that they faced. We have retreats that we're doing. We have a major gala that we're putting on this year, in recognition of the Women Armed Forces Integration Act, which is what actually brought women into the military back in 1948. And it is a federal law, and only 20 states actually know anything about it. Most women have never heard of it.
Wow.
And so we've gotten the state of Alabama, our governor has actually written a proclamation, which is going to make June 12th, which is the actual day, it's going to make June 12th a holiday every year in the state of Alabama.
That's awesome.
And so, we're letting the women know we're there for them. If they need support more than we can handle, we've got resources. We can send them to someone. If they're feeling suicidal, we can get them to somebody to help them with that. We've got a lot of different therapies that people can try and work on. And more than anything else, they just want to know that they're being heard.
Yeah. I can only imagine. And sometimes you have to sit back and listen to this and just be silent to understand that, our own biases, we don't see what other people are having to go through. So it's incredible. I want to take a second just to shout out. Thank you, Jen Lynn. Thank you for being here, Jen Lynn, but also thank you for being an incredible sponsor and for being our first member. We have a monetized YouTube channel, but you are our very first member. So thank you so much for that. Nick, thank you for being in the house. Appreciate you. Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate you being here. Felipe, thank you so much. Hello, Lisa. Great to see you. Crystal, hello. Jody, my wife is in the house. Thank you, my dear. I appreciate you. Great to see you, Sharon. Hello, Lynn. You sent me the message saying you might not be able to make it. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Felipe, we said hello. And I am missing some people. I know. Let's get down here. Marty, thank you so much. And I appreciate your service. Lynn, yours as well. I know that you served. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everyone being here. We are speaking with an incredible person who is doing the work to make a difference in women who have served. And I want to give her all the opportunity in the world to tell more about her organization. So my next question is, I want to dive into a little bit about, how it works before we talk about some of the events you have going on, because I want people to leave with that, to know like what to look for and how they can get in touch with you. We do have the QR code. Please scan that if you have the ability to. That will take you to the Invisible Warriors website. But Nancy, take some time and let us know, how do you set up programs, and what are the programs that you have in existence right now? Because I know you're building, I know you're growing, and I'm so excited for you. But tell people a little bit about, your programs and what you're doing.
Sure. We're only about 3 years old. So we are very, very new in the world of nonprofits. And we started out just wanting to be a resource, just wanting to be able to provide information. We've got, and keep in mind that a lot of this is going into the whole invisible illnesses arena. It's not just the MSD and the PTSD, but we've got resources like, for me, I have no short-term memory. Everything has to be written down. So we've created a packing list that I fill out every time I'm going on a trip someplace, to make sure I haven't forgotten my medicine, to make sure that I've got 5 days clothes if I'm going to be gone 5 days, and not only one day. We've got a list of doctors that that understand the different illnesses, that understand the PTSD. We've got insurance, different things doing with insurance. We've got a medical coder, so that if you get an insurance bill and you're going, they're charging me how much for what? And you didn't even have that. Our coder can look at your bills, can talk to the insurance, can talk to the medical provider, and say, this is ridiculous, this is coded wrong, or whatever, and try to help you get things figured out so that you don't wind up paying thousands of dollars. We had an 89-year-old gentleman that we were working with originally that had come to us that got charged for a hysterectomy.
Let's figure out how that worked. Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah, our coder took one look and practically fell on the floor laughing so hard, and got that taken care of. We have all of these resources. We have programs that we teach on how to self-advocate for yourself. When you go someplace, you don't just, a doctor, for instance. I have something called complex regional pain syndrome, which is nerve damage.
Yep.
And I had gone into the emergency room here for something, and the doctor said, well, why are you in a wheelchair? And I said, because I can't walk, because I have, CRPS. And the guy looked at me and he said, I've never heard of that. You're making it up. Well, I could have just said, okay, fine, no problem. I'll believe you, doctor. It's all in my head, But I didn't. I said, doctor, you have a smartphone in your hand. yes. And he said, yeah. And I said, Google it. Just Google CRPS and find out that there really is such a thing. So we teach these women now, particularly if they're out of the service and don't still have to fall into those guidelines where you salute. You can advocate for yourself, and you can say in a gentle and in a nice, but in a way that gets it across that I'm not going to take this crap, and you got to listen to me because it's my body, it's my mind, it's my life. These things happened, fix them. So we've got a program for that. We've got a program where if you, for whatever reason, can't go out and work a 9-to-5 job, you've got these mental issues, you've got health issues, you can't leave the house. We can teach you how to become an entrepreneur from bed if need be. Wow. So we've got all of these different resources that we're putting together. We've got a document on how to get Family Leave Act for a spouse or a caregiver. Each state is different. And if you are working, but you need to take time off, your spouse, your caregiver can actually figure out what they can do to take time off from work and take care of you. We've got different levels of information on how to get welfare and how to get Medicaid. And if we can't do something ourselves, we've got resources to send you to somebody who can. So.
Yeah, no, I love it. I absolutely, I'm sitting here going, I don't know how you do all those programs. I mean, it's the work that you're doing, the amount of work that you're doing, the incredible things that you are putting out there to help people. It is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we're in our third year as well. And you know what? I'm just happy to have 6 programs that but you have outdone yourself, lady. You have absolutely outdone yourself.
I'm tired.
Hey, you know what? I get it. It is a labor of love. Let's switch the conversation. So we've talked a lot about, what you are, what you do, some of the stats, and really all the different programs. What do you have coming up? What's coming up down the pike? You mentioned the gala coming up, but talk about some events that you have going on in the future so that people can keep a lookout.
Well, we have our online platform that is a 24/7, and it has all these different chat streams with different conversations that people can have. You can go in and talk to other people about PTSD and MSD. You can talk about complex regional pain syndrome. You can talk about migraines. So we've got all these different, and they're private, and no outsider is going to be able to get in and see those things. It's just between you and who you want to be talking with. And so that's there. And these programs are ongoing 24/7. You can do them whenever you want to, however you want to. But we've also started, and it's the first program in the state of Alabama that is an in-person, women-only PTS support group. We originally, when we started doing this, we did a survey, and we asked all these women what it was they wanted. And they all wanted to have some sort of a way to talk with other women, because they wanted to be able to know that they're being heard, seen, and understood. And the only way to really do that is to talk with other women who are going through the same thing. But one of the things they said was they wanted the ability to do it both in person and virtually. Some of them don't ever want to leave the house, so they're not going to come to an in-person. We are national, but we're only doing the one program in Huntsville right now because I'm the one running it. And so we've started, we've had 1 month. Our first month had 10 women show up. We had it in a private room with a private back door to the American Legion here in Huntsville, so that the woman women could come in without necessarily being seen by anyone else if they didn't want people to know they were coming to such a support group. So it's there. We're doing it. It's the only one in the state of Alabama that does this.
Wow.
We were trying to do it with a different group, and the group refused to have us because they wanted it to be men and women together. And we said, no, that's not going to work. It's got to be just women. So we've started that, and that meets monthly. We call it a grub club, where once a month we go have something to eat together and do something just for camaraderie, just for
break some bread. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. We went this month. There's a veterans museum here in town. We went to the museum and looked around there, and then we went to lunch at a restaurant. Sometimes it's just going to eat. Sometimes it's two different things. Sometimes we don't eat. We just go do something. So it's whatever the women want to do for that month. It's just for them to get out, get together, and be someplace. And they know that they can be themselves. They know that they can let their hair down. We are getting ready to do the gala. We are also going to have a retreat in the fall where we're bringing in 12 women. So it's small. It's for a week. And we're going to have different therapies come in and show them so they can get a taste of the different things so that they can maybe see, oh, this works for me. I don't like this. I'm not going to do this, but I like this. They're going to have time for journaling. We're going to go kayaking one day. We're going to sit around the campfire at night and roast s'mores. We have some counselors that are going to be there. We have a JAG lawyer who's going to be there so they can ask the questions. Because one of the things they didn't realize in general was that it doesn't matter how long you've been out of the military, you can still report an MST incident and get some sort of response from it. It doesn't need to be while you're in the service. It can be 10 years or more afterwards. So we're going to have this JAG lawyer there to answer questions. We've got about 15 different programs and things. We do an art contest every year where the people, and it doesn't have to be just military, and it can be men and women, design some sort of artistic endeavor that represents what you think it is like to live a day in the life of an invisible warrior. And then people vote, and the top works get published. They're on our website, all of that. And this year it happened that we had 12 contestants that entered. So we created a calendar. So now we have 2025 calendars each month with a picture that someone created and sent in to our contest. And you can buy those on our website. So it's a fundraiser for us. We have a weekly newsletter that's not just, hey, this is what's going on, but each week it tells a story of a fictional woman who is dealing with something that she's had happen to her while she was in the service. The second part of the newsletter gives tips and strategies on ways to deal with that and handle those issues. And then the last part of the newsletter says, hey, come and join us in the Invisible Warriors Club. So those are some of the things that we're doing.
That's awesome. Good grief. No wonder you're tired. I'm tired listening to you. Goodness.
I need volunteers to help.
Hey, you know what? I'm telling you, I know Jen Lynn just volunteered to say, hey, look, I will give makeup tips. She's incredible. So she's like, hey, look, I'll do some makeup classes. But we've got an incredible group of people. We've got 100 partners in 6 different countries and the most amazing human beings on the planet. So I'm so thrilled for all the people that are in the chat and will be watching this over the course of the next couple of weeks. But I want to make sure before we get off that we talk about any and everything that you want to get out to everyone. So if there's anything else that, how can people, I've already got your website here. They can scan that. They can go to it, Invisible Warriors. But, is there another way for people to get in touch with you? I know you're on LinkedIn, but So that's under your name and Invisible Warriors as well. You have your own
Mhm.
page there. Okay.
Yeah.
And any other platforms that you're on?
Well, I was on Facebook until somebody stole my entire
Oh,
profile and business pages on Facebook, and they somehow or other convinced Facebook that I was the bad guy, and so I have been banned permanently from Facebook. Which
yeah.
means I can't get on Instagram either.
Oh,
So, but
wow.
I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Alignable, I'm on all of those different groups. And you can sign up for the newsletter if you're interested through the website. We try to do everything through the website. You've got links to the Invisible Warriors Club, which is our online platform. There's a volunteer link there if somebody wants to volunteer with us. There's all different things, and you really can reach out to me through the website is the best way to do it.
Sharon and her risability, she is incredible. And she's like, hey, I will help you. I will help you help them find their confidence through identifying their superpower. So
That's
we
great.
got we got people like, sign up, scan that QR code, go to the website, and sign up to be a volunteer. I love it. It's incredible. And what a great audience. Thank you so much for everybody coming out tonight and meeting Nancy Becher and all the great work that she's doing with Invisible Warriors. Thank you for all our sponsors. Thank you for the time this evening. Nancy, thank you for being here. Thank you for telling your incredible story. I want you to be able to get some rest so you can keep doing the stuff that you're doing. But man, I am, and I've got some ideas for you about Facebook. I'll tell you about that. I'll email you. I'll
Okay.
email you. So, um, uh, this is this is an interesting question. So, how will the new limitations on DEI affect women in the DoD?
I'm not really sure yet. I haven't gotten into that whole issue yet. I know that um, DEI has been looking not so much at the kinds of things that the women I work with are going through, but they had different agendas and different things they were doing. So I'm not really sure. I'm sure it's going to have an effect. It's having an effect on nonprofits in general. It's having an effect on everything. So I'm sure there will be some challenges ahead.
Yeah, and I appreciate those that have reached out. Felipe, I just want to say, I hope if you're still in the audience, want to say that I was incredibly humbled and grateful for you reaching out to check in on me and our organization. There are a lot of challenges ahead, and there are a lot of things that we're going to need to adjust and stand strong together. And so as a nonprofit that fights for living wages for people, when 44% of the United States workers don't make a living wage, we're going to continue that battle. We're going to continue to stand in the gap, and we're going to continue to impress upon leaders by showing real stats from Forbes and a lot of people that are a lot smarter than this hockey dude. The incredible ROI of when you pour into people. So we all have some challenges ahead, but thank you so much for being here, Nancy. Thank you for the incredible work. Thank you for your question, Henry. And thank you so much for everybody in the audience, all of our sponsors. Jen Lynn, thank you for being our very first member. That's awesome. So I will send you something special, my friend. I appreciate you. This has been our People Community event. Just want to let you know on February 4th, we've got Solvega Jaskunas at 7 p.m. If you don't know who she is, she has a great keynote about immigrant life and what it means to be an immigrant in the United States, and does a lot of work with immigrants and expats. And this is, boy, you talk about a time to be talking about this and finding your voice. I know it's an incredible conversation that we're going to have. It'll be the second time that we've had her on the show. I look forward to having her on. We've been so grateful to have Nancy here. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We hope that you have a great evening, and we'll catch you next time.